So putting the Dolomite into primer is progressing nicely. So I'm beginning to work on some of the return edges that need masking. So here, for instance, with the doors, because we need to mask these nicely when the body gets painted, I've had to put the masking tape in behind the flange here that's going to take the rubber seals so that these can be nicely painted, and then we can put masking tape on the outside of here as well to make sure that nothing goes inside. I've done the same already on the other front door. I did the windscreen surround yesterday too while I had all the kit out. I've masked up the roof because that's already in semi-matte black, ready for the vinyl roof to go back on it. I've masked up this door and I've sprayed the zinc primer on already. That'll be followed by some body colour yellow. And here you can see I'm just finishing the front door. So all the masking tape is actually in behind the flanges. And I put these cross pieces in as well, just to give it some more strength. So it's a case of cutting and sticking the paper to the tape as it is now. And then on the bits where it's a little bit marginal, like here, I can put tape on the outside to go up to the edge of the flange. And then, like the other side, once it's in colour, we can then put masking tape into this corner, and then the join line that masking tape shows when we paint the rest of the body won't show because it's hidden behind the door seal rubbers. So yeah, good progress. So here's the last bit of masking going into the front door, and you can see how I've got the straight edges lined up to start with. I can now just push this up against the tape and then trim it back to the edge of the flange, and you can see here how where the paper joins, and on the bits where there's slightly less good adhesion to the paper, to the tape behind, then I'm using the white tape, as I've done here, just to improve the quality of the sealing. So I'll do a strip across here for the joiners, and I'll do a strip across here as I've done on the back door and the other side already. So here you can see I've trimmed the paper to match the flange, and now I can actually reach through to press the tape from behind at the same time as pressing the paper from the front. And then, as I say, just use the white masking tape just to make sure it's entirely securely attached to the yellow tape behind. And I'll do this join too. And there we go, all sealed up. I'm going to do a couple of coats of the zinc primer first, and then when the zinc primer has gone off, I'll put some colour on there, just on the return flange here, and then any that gets on the, if you like, decorative bit of the bodywork will be able to be flatted back before we spray the outside of the car. One of the many modern miracles is fillable spray cans. So I've got the exact same paint that we're going to be using on the outside of the car shoved into a spray can here, so that I don't have to go mixing up just a tiny bit to spray the door flanges with, or the door aperture flanges with. I can just do them out of the spray can. Saves all the mixing up and then cleaning up of a spray gun, which makes the life a lot easier. So there we have 2 coats of zinc-based primer on the door aperture flanges all the way around the car now, including the windscreen. That will be followed by 2 coats of yellow, body yellow. I've already got 1 coat on the rear here. I'll be doing the front, and then I can mask it again with the masking tape over the flange once the paint has had plenty of time to go off and harden nicely. So that's the 2 coats of colour done on the door aperture flanges. You can see here where I've emptied out the spray can that these refillable ones have a particular spray pattern on the nozzle rather than just a round pattern. It's much more like the kind of spray pattern you'd get out of a spray gun. So in so many ways, these are just the perfect thing for doing these small little bits. Saves a lot of hassle with mixing and cleaning paint in a paint gun. So as we've got the door apertures well underway, I've started to extend the amount of primer that I've got on the body. The first coat of primer is an ideal way to see if there's any issues with the metalwork. It highlights any divots and dents. This is still damp. Obviously there are lots of bits that start to show up. You can see here with a bit of reflection on it, it shows the imperfections in the surface, and once the primer is dried I can put a very thin proof coat on it, and then that's ideal for flatting back to make sure we've got a really good smooth surface, which we can then put, if you like, a finishing primer on before going into colour. So good progress.